Hi there. Welcome to K&B Developments video on saving energy on existing properties. My name is Karen. So today's video is going to cover how to save money on energy by providing money saving advice from appliances you can use and down to also how you live in your property. So yeah, that's what it's going to cover today. So let's get started. Let's start the video. So just moving on to the first slide then. So things such as additional thermal imagery. So electricity companies are looking into this now. And what this means for you is that your house can be surveyed by using thermal imagery, which shows you where the heat is being lost. So 9 times out of 10 you will find that you've got drafty windows and there are other areas such as hot spots in the roof, windows, doors and that type of thing. So are the 3 sort of main areas for heat loss. So armed with this data, you can look at stopping up drafts or placing more insulation where it is most needed. So getting best value for your spend on this. So one company that I do know that is doing this right now is Octopus Energy. So if you are with them, I would suggest that you get in contact with them and ask if this is a possibility that they can look at this for you. Okay, so moving on then to smart meters. So many people have these now, and they usually come with a real-time power usage display that links to the meter itself, and that's normally wirelessly. So this allows you to keep an eye on your usage during the day, and it makes it easier to see which appliances are using most energy. So obviously what can happen on some appliances, you get what we call spikes. So for instance, a certain appliance will provide you with a higher throughput of electricity than another one. So you can see which appliances that you have in your home are creating those spikes. Okay, so moving on then to talk about a little bit about appliances. There is a lot of talk about relatively expensive air fryers to save on using a main oven. So just to confirm that these air fryers aren't very expensive. They can be as little as £30. However, like with most appliances and most things you buy, there are variations to the price on that. So obviously that will fluctuate based on what you're looking at. Okay, so moving on really then to look at the sort of what I call the humble halogen oven. So this typically uses about 1.3 kilowatts as opposed to the main oven at 3 kilowatts. So there's a huge difference there, and you will see a saving if you use it all the time. We've just started using our halogen oven. We use it pretty much for everything. So we're cooking our meals in the week on it, and we're also doing Sunday roast. You quite happily cook a roast chicken in there, I think. So we're cooking our meals in the week on it, and we're also doing Sunday roast. You quite happily cook a roast chicken in there, and it comes out and it still looks the same as what you would do in your main conventional oven. So just to confirm then, the halogen ovens are pretty cheap and can pay for themselves within weeks. So moving on then to thermostats. Turn down your thermostat. Are they set at 20 Celsius or above? Consider dropping it if possible. Some people need higher temperatures as well, obviously, if they're caring for. The ones furthest away from the boiler will be cooler than close by. So if you are concerned or have vulnerable people in your household, then 60 degrees may be necessary at this and this is guaranteed to kill the organism. Okay, so you will hear people say that you should boil the water that you need for hot drinks. Only boil the water that you need for hot drinks, and this does make a difference. Do not boil a litre of water just to make a single cup of tea. Another trick is to use the microwave or to heat water directly in a cup before making the tea with a tea bag. So lastly, for this section, a note on letterboxes. Most houses in the UK have letterboxes cut into the front door. My house actually has a separate letterbox outside the front door, which is more common in countries that have proper hard winters, but most UK houses have holes in the front door. So this is an obvious place where heat will escape. As I said before, most of the heat loss is either through the roof or the doors and windows. If you do not have a draft excluder on the letterbox, then I recommend you get one. It makes a big difference, especially for smaller houses or flats where there may be a separate hallway from the front door to the living area. Okay, so moving on then to the next slide. So heating your house then and putting your heating on during the winter months. So, you know, what you can do is instead of putting the heating on an hour before you're due to get up, or an hour, turning it off an hour before you go to bed, you could basically just leave it half an hour before you get up in the mornings. This will still give you a really, really good feeling of warmth when you get up, and you will save, you know, that's half an hour per day in terms of what you're saving. So it's something to try and see if that. The ones furthest away from the boiler will be cooler than close by. So if you are concerned or have vulnerable people in your household, because you won't get them now, I'm sure you're all aware. So gas as well then, the gas was 0.07.7 per kilowatt, and it's now 0.15 per kilowatt. So, you know, gas is cheaper than electricity at the moment. But what I do see is I see that gap closing. So gas is catching up with electricity and could possibly overtake it at some point. So do watch that. So, you know, it's important to try and save money on both sides there. So obviously at the time of this putting together this presentation, gas was a quarter of the price of electricity. I still think at the moment there is still a bit of a gap there. So gas is still a little bit cheaper. But as I say, going forward, I can't see that maintaining, I'm afraid. So moving on then to electrification of heat since February. What they're trying to do is they're looking at changing the way that we store electricity. So potentially we're looking at hydrogen to store the electricity, because what we're doing at the moment is we are actually burning it instead of storing it. So it's changing the way that we store electricity. So potentially we're looking at hydrogen to store the electricity, because what we're doing at the moment is we are actually burning it instead of storing it. So the electricity, because what we're doing at the moment is we are actually burning it instead of storing it. So a little bit cheaper, but as I say, going forward, I can't see that maintaining, I'm afraid. So moving on then to electrification of heat since February. What they're trying to do is they're looking at changing the way that we store electricity. So potentially we're looking at hydrogen to store the electricity, because what we're doing at the moment is we are actually burning it instead of storing it. So changing the way that we store electricity. So potentially we're looking at hydrogen to store the electricity, because what we're doing at the moment is we are actually burning it instead of storing it. So I believe that is changing the way that we store electricity. So potentially we're looking at hydrogen to store the electricity, because what we're doing at the moment is we are actually burning it instead of storing it. So I store the electricity, because what we're doing at the moment is we are actually burning it instead of storing it. So I
I believe that is the way forward. There's still lots of things to be ironed out regarding that, but that is the way it looks like we are going at the moment. So that's the end of the video now. So I hope you've enjoyed the information, and I hope that you can glean something from it and use it in a practical way to help you to save money. This channel that we've put together as KMB Developments we are going to be producing more videos. So if you have enjoyed the video today, I'd be really grateful if you could press the subscribe button, or if you would like to leave some comments in the chat, then please do. We'd be very happy to answer any of your questions. So thank you very much for listening, and we look forward to speaking to you again. Thank you.